You walk through this world as though time belongs to you, as though tomorrow is yours to hold and the next breath is promised. You hear the phrase focus on yourself, and it rolls off your ears like water on stone. But I tell you, if you do not learn to still your soul, to quiet the noise and examine the core of who you are, you will drift like the chaff the wind drives away. You will live and die for shadows. You think energy is some mystical force outside of you. You think it's something to manifest, to chant into existence with empty affirmations. I tell you the truth. Your energy is where you place your heart. Your focus, your attention, your time. This is your energy. And if it is spent on vanity, on distraction, on entertainment, on pride, you are already bankrupt. You are already wasting what little you have. People today, they hunger for affirmation. They hunger for likes, for attention, for approval. But I ask you, what does it profit a man to gain the approval of 10,000 strangers and lose sight of himself? What does it profit you to spend your years posturing, curating a version of yourself, never knowing who you really are? You laugh, you joke, you pretend, but when you lie awake at night, when the silence finally drowns the noise, do you even recognize the person staring back at you in the dark? You are distracted, always chasing, always comparing, always grasping. Your energy is divided into 1,000 directions. No wonder you are tired. No wonder you are anxious. No wonder you can't hear truth when it comes knocking. You're stretched thin across a digital wasteland, scattered, fragmented, hollow. You must learn to turn inward, not in narcissism, but in truth. You must stop pointing fingers at the world and start searching your own heart. The most dangerous thing in your life is not your circumstances, not your past, not your enemies. It is the lie that you keep telling yourself that you are fine just as you are, that you do not need to change, that your wounds define you, that your excuses are valid. I tell you now, focus on yourself, not as the world teaches, not in some twisted, self-indulgent way, but in the most honest way possible. Strip away the masks. Sit in the silence, ask the hard questions. Who are you? What do you believe? What do you stand for? What are you chasing? And why? Most of you are running. You're running from the pain, from the truth, from the emptiness. You surround yourself with noise to drown out the stillness. You fill your schedule so you never have to ask, why am I doing this? You say yes to things that rob you of your purpose, and then you wonder why you feel numb. You keep handing pieces of yourself away to people who do not know your worth, to causes that do not deserve your passion, and you wonder why you feel exhausted, your energy, your focus. It is your responsibility. No one can manage it for you, and if you do not reclaim it, the world will use it. It will take your soul and leave a shell behind, a shell that smiles in public and weeps in secret, a shell that moves but does not live. You want change? Then stop waiting for the world to change. Stop blaming everyone else. Stop pointing to the past. Stop waiting for a sign. You are the sign. Your very breath is the sign that you've been given another chance. Another day, another opportunity to reclaim what you've lost, to stop drifting, to stop performing, to stop being a slave to everything outside of you. You were not made to be mediocre. You were not made to be numb. You were not made to be molded by culture. You were made to be whole, but you cannot be whole if your energy is scattered across 100 false identities. You cannot be whole if you're obsessed with how you appear and not with who you are. You cannot be whole if you feed your mind with poison and expect clarity. You cannot be whole if you follow everyone but know yourself not at all. Your greatest battle is not out there. It's in here, in your mind, in your heart, and if you do not fight it, you will lose by default. You will become another voice in the crowd, echoing empty phrases and wondering why it all feels so shallow. You will spend your years existing, never living, acting, never being. You must shift your energy from bitterness to growth, from fear to action, from regret to responsibility, from comparison to purpose, because no one else can live your life for you. No one else can take your place, and if you give your energy away to things that don't matter, you forfeit the life you could have lived. You want peace? Then face yourself. You want clarity? Then stop lying to yourself. You want power? Then discipline your mind, starve the things that weaken you, feed the things that strengthen you. You want freedom? Then stop handing over your energy to things that enslave you. Your past does not own you. Your failure does not define you. Your critics do not know you, but you must know yourself, or you will be tossed by every wind and wave of opinion. This world is loud, but you don't have to be. This world is fast. But you don't have to race. This world is shallow, but you don't have to drown. Dig deep. Go slow, grow roots. Focus, not in pride, not in ego, but in truth. You cannot serve others well until you've come home to yourself. You cannot love fully until you've torn down the walls of self-deceit. You cannot lead until you've been broken and rebuilt. You talk about energy as though it is something mysterious, but look at your life. Look where your hours go, that is your energy. Look at your thoughts, your obsessions, your complaints, that is your energy. Look at your phone, your habits, your conversations, that is your energy. You want to shift it. Then shift what you do, shift what you consume, shift what you speak. Don't chase what looks good, chase what lasts. Don't give your time to empty things and then cry when you feel empty. Don't keep drinking from the well of distraction and wonder why you are thirsty for meaning. You know what's wrong. You just don't want to do what it takes to fix it. You'd rather feel safe in the lie than be exposed by the truth. But hear me, there is no healing without honesty. There is no power without pain. There is no transformation without self-confrontation. You are not a victim of your life. You are the steward. You are the one who chooses what you feed and what you starve. You are the one who must take responsibility. You are the one who must say, enough, no more wasting time, no more blaming, no more waiting. I will focus, I will shift, I will live intentionally, but know this. It won't be easy. You will lose friends. You will be misunderstood. You will feel alone. Because when you stop living like everyone else, you stop being accepted by everyone else. But peace is not found in approval. It's found in integrity. It's found when your inside matches your outside, when your soul is no longer at war with your habits. So choose this day whom you will serve, your distractions or your destiny, your excuses or your growth, your comfort or your calling. You cannot serve both. You must decide. Your life is too short to waste it pleasing people who don't even know who they are. Your life is too precious to spend it running from yourself. If you shift your energy, you will feel resistance, not from others, but from within. Your mind will rebel, your body will groan, your habits will protest, but stay the course, because every time you choose focus over distraction, truth over comfort, purpose over ease, you grow stronger, you grow clearer, you grow free. You cannot shift energy without shifting focus, and you cannot shift focus until you take ownership, ownership of your time, ownership of your pain, ownership of your patterns. Stop asking others to change when you refuse to change. Stop demanding results when you won't put in the work. You reap what you sow. And if you want something different, you must sow something different. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just undisciplined. You're not hopeless. You're distracted. You're not weak. You've just handed over your strength, but you can take it back. You can stop the bleeding. You can silence the noise, but only if you're willing to fight for yourself, not in selfishness, but in stewardship, because your life matters, your time matters, your mind matters. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to live with intention, to rise, not drift, to build, not break, to grow, not shrink. But hear me, this will not happen accidentally. You must make war against distraction. You must set boundaries like walls of steel. You must get comfortable with saying no. You must trade cheap applause for deep growth, because not everything that shines is gold, and not everyone who smiles is your friend, and not everything that feels good will lead you home. So focus with every ounce of strength, shift your energy, reclaim your fire, burn away the lies, embrace the silence, and look in the mirror, not with shame, but stop blaming external factors, your past, your circumstances, or others. Take full ownership of your thoughts, actions, and direction. Your life changes the moment you decide to take control. Where you put your attention, your thoughts, habits, time, is where your energy flows. If your focus is on distractions, approval, or fear, your energy will be drained. But if you focus on growth, truth, and purpose, your energy will multiply. You must confront yourself, your patterns, your excuses, your wounds. There's no transformation without self-confrontation. Shifting your energy requires inner clarity, integrity, and the discipline to live aligned with truth. You must understand something foundational, something so fundamental that until it takes root in your soul, nothing else you do will bear real fruit. And it is this: you are responsible for your life. You, not your parents, not your past, not your enemies, not the culture, not your circumstances. You, until you take full ownership of your choices, your habits, your time, and your energy, you will always be at the mercy of life's tides. You will drift, you will blame, you will make excuses, and you will remain stuck. We live in a world obsessed with shifting responsibility. Every time something goes wrong, someone else must be at fault. If you're not where you want to be, it must be because of someone else. If you failed, it must be because someone blocked you. If you're angry, it must be because someone hurt you. But this pattern, this mindset, it is the slow death of all growth. It is the breeding ground of bitterness and stagnation, because the moment you assign your power to others, you give them control over your destiny. No, life is not always fair, and yes, people have hurt you. Yes, you've been through things others don't understand, but even with all that, you still choose. You choose how you respond. You choose what you believe. You choose what you allow to grow in your heart. And that choice, that's the beginning of power. That's the start of freedom. But most will never get there, because it's easier to sit in a prison built by others than to walk the painful road to freedom. You say you want change, but are you willing to do what it requires? Are you willing to dig deep into the roots of your own dysfunction? Are you willing to admit that maybe it's not just what happened to you, it's what you keep doing to yourself? That maybe the real battle isn't outside, but within. See, people crave transformation, but they hate the cost. They want new outcomes, but they don't want new disciplines. They want peace, but they won't let go of their excuses. Do you understand what it means to be responsible? It doesn't mean you're to blame for everything that's happened, but it does mean you are now in charge of what happens next. That you can't keep using your pain as a license to poison everything good in your life. That you can't keep rehearsing the same story of why you're stuck and then act surprised when you never move forward. That you can't keep waiting for someone to rescue you when you have the key to your own cage. If you want to rise, then look yourself in the mirror and stop lying, stop pretending, stop softening the truth just so you don't have to feel uncomfortable. Own the fact that you're not where you could be, not because of fate, not because of bad luck, but because of the choices you make every single day. Own the wasted hours. Own the self. Sabotage. Own the compromises. Own the moments when you chose what was easy instead of what was right. Own it all, and then do something about it. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's a gift, because when you finally take it seriously, you reclaim your authority. You stop begging for permission. You stop needing validation. You stop hoping someone will fix what you are called to confront. No one is coming to do it for you. That's not bad news. That's the best news you'll ever hear, because it means you don't have to wait, you don't have to beg, you don't have to sit in despair hoping someone finally sees your potential. You just have to act, you just have to rise, you just have to choose. But if you don't make that decision, if you don't take radical ownership, you will always be manipulated by your surroundings. You'll be shaped by every wave of emotion. You'll be tossed by every voice of criticism. You'll be paralyzed by every failure, because you're still waiting for something outside you to fix what only you can fix. And while you wait, your life is passing you by. You must stop outsourcing your peace. You must stop blaming your job, your relationships, your childhood, your genetics, your boss. You must stop hiding behind the pain. Pain is real, but it is not a permission slip to live in defeat. It is not your identity. Your trauma is not your destiny. It's a scar, not a chain. And when you keep dragging it around like proof that you're allowed to stay small, you insult the strength that's been given to you. You insult the opportunity to rise from the ashes. You insult the very breath in your lungs. Do you want to know why most people stay stuck? Because it's comfortable. Because blame is easier than change. Because being a victim gives you an identity without requiring growth. But that identity is a lie. It's a cage, and it's killing you slowly. You were not created to live in that mindset. You were created to fight, to build, to become. You're tired, I know. But are you tired enough to stop running from yourself? Are you tired enough to finally take inventory of your life? Not the life you wish you had, not the life you pretend to have, but the one you're actually living. Are you tired enough to stop blaming the world and start changing your world? Because you cannot be transformed by truth you refuse to face. And the first truth you need to face is this: you are not powerless. You never were. You just gave your power away, bit by bit, choice by choice. Every time you chose comfort over courage, blame over responsibility. You think you'll feel ready someday. You won't. You think motivation will suddenly come and carry you to greatness. It won't. You think someone will come along and make you whole. They won't. The time is now. The choice is yours. You have to get up while you're still scared. You have to work while you still feel weak. You have to act before you feel ready, because waiting for perfect conditions is just another way of avoiding responsibility. And don't think for 1 second that this means doing everything perfectly. That's not what this is about. It's not about being flawless. It's about being faithful. It's about showing up for yourself even when you fail. Especially when you fail, because when you take responsibility, you stop quitting when things get hard. You stop folding under pressure. You stop letting your emotions run your life. You learn to stand when it's uncomfortable, to push when it's painful, to endure when it's inconvenient. Responsibility doesn't mean you do everything alone, but it does mean you stop waiting for someone else to do your part. You can get help. You can seek wisdom. You can cry, but you still must rise. You still must choose. You still must walk the path no one can walk for you. And if you fall, you get back up, not because it's easy, but because it's right. What if I told you the most powerful thing you could ever do is to take ownership of your choices, completely, radically, without excuse? What if I told you that your entire life could change, not in a year, not in a month, but the moment you decide to stop blaming and start building? That is not exaggeration. That is the truth. because clarity comes when you stop lying to yourself. Strength comes when you stop surrendering to weakness. Freedom comes when you stop pretending and start acting. You want to change your life? Start with what you do today. Stop talking about tomorrow. Stop waiting for a better mood. Stop needing the stars to align. What can you do right now, right here, that aligns with who you want to become? Do that, and then do it again tomorrow, and again the day after, and when you fall short, don't spiral into shame. Take responsibility and begin again, because the only way out is through the hard truths, through the broken patterns, through the pain of facing yourself. But I promise you, there is life on the other side, there is freedom, but it will cost you your victimhood. It will cost you your excuses. It will cost you your comfort, and that is a price worth paying. You will never regret taking responsibility. You will never regret becoming stronger. You will never regret choosing growth over blame. What you will regret is the time wasted waiting for someone to give you what you had the power to build. What you will regret is the years you spent pretending that life was happening to you when you could have chosen to respond differently. What you will regret is the silence of your potential, and lived unheard because you were too afraid to own it. You don't need more time. You don't need more chances. You need to wake up. You need to decide. And you need to take responsibility, not just for the easy things, but for all of it. That is where your freedom begins. That is where your energy returns. That is where your life truly starts. Look around at your life, not the fantasy you keep selling yourself, but the real life, the one you wake up to, the one you carry in your heart when no one's watching. Look closely. If you're weary, if you're scattered, if you're drowning in confusion or fatigue or anxiety, don't look for answers in some distant philosophy. Look at your focus. Look at what has your attention, because your energy, your vitality, your inner strength, it follows your focus like a shadow. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows, and that means what you choose to focus on is shaping the very fabric of your life, whether you realize it or not. There's a reason people feel drained without doing much. It's not always physical exhaustion. It's mental leakage. It's emotional drain. It's the weight of 1,000 unguarded moments where you let your focus drift to everything but what matters. You're giving away your energy in pieces, here to comparison, there to distraction, over here to offense, to the news cycle, to gossip, to regret, to anxiety about the future. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you've given your focus to things that do nothing but consume and never return. You must stop lying to yourself. You must stop pretending that your scattered mind is something normal to accept. You think it's just how things are. You think you're just busy. But what you really are is unfocused, unanchored, pulled in every direction because you haven't decided what truly deserves your energy. And until you do, you will feel the drain. You will feel the chaos. You will wonder why peace seems like something always out of reach, when in fact it was right there, just buried beneath layers of clutter. You must guard your focus like a treasure, because it is. Your mind was not designed to hold everything. You were not created to live on high alert, responding to every ping, every notification, every meaningless piece of input that passes your screen. Your mind was meant to create, to build, to grow, to engage deeply. But it cannot do that while being pulled in 1,000 directions. You can't do deep work with shallow focus. You can't find purpose while your mind is stuck in fragments. You think you can multitask your way to peace. You think you can scroll for hours, jump from one thing to the next, and still expect clarity. You think you can give your focus to everything and still have enough left to become the person you were meant to be. No, it doesn't work that way. You are a limited vessel. You have only so much energy, so much attention, so much strength in a day. If you spend it on things that do not build you, do not grow you, do not align with your purpose, then don't be surprised when you find yourself empty, restless, and lost. Energy is not just physical. It is spiritual, it is emotional, it is mental. It is the reservoir you draw from when life demands more than your strength. But that reservoir is not infinite if you're constantly poking holes in it with misplaced focus. Some of you are exhausted not from what you're doing, but from what you keep thinking about, from what you keep worrying about, from what you keep chasing that has no value. And if you would just shift your focus, your energy would begin to return. Focus is not just about discipline, it's about identity. What you focus on reveals who you believe you are. If you constantly focus on what others think of you, it's because your identity is still built on their approval. If you constantly focus on your failures, it's because your identity is still chained to your past. If you constantly focus on distractions, it's because your soul is afraid of silence, afraid to face the truth of where you really are. But when you begin to focus on growth, on character, on wisdom, on gratitude, on purpose, you begin to align your energy with something higher, something grounded, something real. The world is designed to hijack your focus. Everything is screaming for it. Companies are spending billions just to steal a few seconds of your attention, and many of you are handing it over freely, constantly, without question. You open your eyes, and the first thing you reach for is a screen. You check the lives of people who do not know you and wonder why your sense of self is so fragile. You scroll past drama, anger, conflict, and you wonder why your soul feels chaotic. It's not a mystery. It's math. Where your focus goes, your energy follows. You say you want peace, but do you focus on peace? Do you pursue it with the same hunger you chase dopamine? Do you carve space in your day for silence, for reflection, for renewal, or is every moment filled with noise? You say you want clarity, but do you focus on clarity? Do you prioritize order, or do you keep choosing chaos because it's familiar? You say you want growth, but is your focus planted on things that challenge you, that sharpen you, that call you higher? Or are you feeding yourself with spiritual junk food? You cannot live a powerful life with a powerless focus. You cannot build strong foundations while pouring your energy into sand, and you cannot expect strength when your focus is constantly fixed on what weakens you. You want strength, then fix your focus. Discipline it, starve the things that drain you, feed the things that nourish you, guard your eyes, guard your ears, guard your mind, because what enters your focus will soon shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. Don't tell me your dreams, show me your calendar, show me your daily habits, show me where your mind goes when no one is watching. That's where your focus lies, that's where your energy is going. And if your focus is consumed with entertainment, with vanity, with fear, with bitterness, then your life will reflect that. Not because you're cursed, but because you're investing in what can never make you whole. Shift your focus, and your energy shifts with it. It's not magic, it's principle. Put your focus on gratitude, and your energy will lift. Put your focus on growth, and your energy will stretch. Put your focus on wisdom, and your energy will deepen. But it's a choice. It's always a choice. And the problem is not that you don't know what to do. It's that you've been too passive with your attention. You've allowed the world to decide what's worth focusing on, and the world has no interest in your peace. It wants your clicks, not your clarity. So draw the line, get intentional. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Pull your focus back from the whirlwind. Cut the noise. Sit in silence. Ask yourself, what am I giving my attention to that is not giving me life? What am I focusing on that is shaping me into someone I was never meant to be? What am I feeding every day that is slowly draining the strength from my soul? You don't need more motivation. You need clarity. You need a reset. You need to remember that focus is not a feeling, it's a decision. You choose it when it's hard. You choose it when your emotions rebel. You choose it when the world tells you to look everywhere but within. Because deep focus doesn't come naturally in a distracted world. It comes from war. Daily war against the trivial, the urgent, the petty, the empty. And you must win that war if you want to live with strength. Look at the people you admire, the ones who live with power, with peace, with purpose. They're not superhuman. They're not luckier. They've just learned to master their focus. They've learned to say no to the noise, so they can say yes to the mission. They've learned that focus is the gatekeeper of all productivity, all joy, all spiritual growth, and they protect it like gold. So what about you? Will you keep living distracted, wondering why life feels shallow? Will you keep pouring your energy into things that leave you hollow? Or will you shift your focus to not tomorrow, of the things that matter? Will you learn to sit in stillness, to clear the clutter, to train your mind like a muscle? Because that's what it takes. You don't drift into clarity, you focus into it. You don't stumble into strength. You focus your energy into building it. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right things. And to know what those things are, you need focused vision. A scattered focus creates a scattered soul. But when you narrow your vision to what truly matters, your energy returns like fire in your bones. You rise earlier, you think clearer, you walk straighter, you speak slower, you live with purpose, not panic. That's not hype, that's not theory, that's lived experience. That's the truth that will change you if you let it. Your energy follows your focus. Guard it, shift it, and your life will follow. You can go to all the seminars, read all the books, repeat every affirmation in the mirror until your voice breaks. But nothing will change, nothing real will shift until you get honest. Not half honest, not surface level confession, not filtered vulnerability you post for likes, but brutal, uncompromising, raw honesty, the kind that strips you down, the kind that tears through your pride, the kind that exposes everything you've tried to hide from yourself. That's where change begins. That's where the breakthrough starts, not with comfort, but with confrontation, because the real enemy of transformation is not ignorance, it's deception. And the worst kind of deception is self-deception. You can't heal what you won't admit is broken. You can't grow out of what you pretend isn't there. You can't overcome what you refuse to face. That's why so many people stay stuck for years. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they're too afraid to be honest. Honest about their laziness, honest about their addictions, honest about their bitterness, honest about their fear. And I'm not talking about admitting your flaws so you can feel bad. That's not honesty, that's guilt. I'm talking about honesty that leads to repentance. Honesty that leads to change, the kind of truth that hurts, but heals, because truth always cuts before it cleanses. It always wounds before it sets free, and the longer you run from it, the deeper the infection grows. You can build a beautiful life on the outside, but if the inside is filled with lies you refuse to confront, it will eventually collapse. We live in a world that loves pretending. People curate their lives like museum pieces. They wear masks so long, they forget who they are without them. They lie to themselves just enough to feel okay, just enough to avoid the pain of facing reality. But that false peace comes at a cost. The cost is growth. The cost is freedom. The cost is the future you were meant to step into, because no lie you live with is harmless. Every lie drains you, weakens you, shackles you to the person you used to be. There's a reason it feels hard to look in the mirror and tell the truth. Because truth is not gentle. It doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't soothe your feelings. It comes with a sword and it cuts. It divides between what's real and what's not. It shatters illusions. It confronts the image you've spent years building, and that confrontation is what most people run from. They'd rather be miserable in familiar lies than uncomfortable in truth. But truth, even when it hurts, is your only path to wholeness. You want to know why you're still struggling with the same habits, the same cycles, the same broken patterns. It's not because you're weak. It's because you haven't told yourself the truth about how serious the issue is. You've softened it, you've justified it, you've compared yourself to people worse off so you don't have to change. But comparisons won't heal you, excuses won't strengthen you, justifications won't set you free. Only truth will, but only if you're willing to let it hit you where it hurts. Do you want to stop being angry all the time? Then be honest about what you're holding on to. Be honest about your bitterness, your resentment, your need for control. Do you want to stop running in circles with relationships? Then be honest about your patterns, how you choose, how you cling, how you push people away. Do you want to stop feeling lost? Then be honest about your lack of purpose, your distractions, the way you've been avoiding the deep work of knowing yourself. You've got to stop telling yourself half-truths. Stop minimizing your dysfunction so you can sleep better. Stop calling it a struggle when you know you're choosing it. Stop calling it tiredness when it's actually spiritual laziness. Stop pretending you're fine when your soul is slowly suffocating. There's no freedom in denial. There's no strength in pretending. Real change only comes when you expose the wound fully. No filter, no spin, no blame. And let me tell you something. Brutal honesty will humble you. It will break your pride. It will show you that many of the things you blamed on others were really your own doing. It will make you weep over wasted time, over selfishness you didn't want to see, over people you hurt while you were focused on self-preservation. It will crush the part of you that wants to be admired more than it wants to be healed. But that crushing is the beginning of real power, because what breaks you also rebuilds you, if you let it. See, truth doesn't just expose, it invites. It invites you to leave behind the mask. It invites you to stop performing. It invites you to step into something deeper, but that invitation is only received by those who are willing to be undone, those who are willing to lay it all bare, those who are willing to say, I can't live like this anymore. That's where transformation begins, not with strategies, but with surrender. You don't need another motivational quote. You need the guts to sit alone, in silence, and ask, who am I really? What am I running from? What am I hiding behind? What patterns have I accepted as permanent? What lies have I baptized as truth just so I wouldn't have to change? And when the answers come, don't explain them away. Don't soften them. Don't excuse them. Let them cut. Let them speak. Let them dismantle what needs to die, because real growth doesn't come from pretending to be strong. It comes from admitting where you're weak. Real transformation doesn't come from performing for others. It comes from confronting yourself, and you don't need to be ashamed of what you find. You just need to be honest. Honesty doesn't make you less. It makes you real, it makes you solid, it makes you whole, because when you stop lying to yourself, you stop needing to lie to others. You stop living a double life. You stop building your identity on a foundation of sand. That kind of honesty is rare, even in people who claim to be growing, because everyone wants results, but few are willing to pay the price. The price is painful honesty, the kind that says, I've been lazy, I've been selfish, I've been prideful, I've been playing the victim, I've been blaming everyone else, I've been hiding behind my wounds, I've been afraid to change. That honesty is hard, but it's also holy, because it purifies you. It clears the fog. It gives you a starting point. You don't have to fix everything at once, but you have to start by telling the truth, the whole truth. You have to admit what needs to die in you. You have to name what's keeping you stuck. You have to face the mirror with courage. No more sugarcoating. No more false humility. No more spiritualized excuses. If you want freedom, tell the truth. If you want peace, tell the truth. If you want to become someone you can respect, someone with depth, integrity, and power, then tell the truth, but be warned. Honesty will cost you. It will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your image. It will cost you your shallow relationships, the ones built on pretense. It will cost you your false identities. But what you gain in return is far greater. You gain clarity. You gain strength. You gain integrity. You gain a life that's not built on shifting sand, but on rock. You can't fake your way into transformation. You can't smile your way through brokenness. You can't worship your way out of habits you refuse to confront. You must be willing to face the dark corners of your heart, the selfish motives, the hidden envy, the prideful thoughts, the fear-driven choices, and bring them into the light. That's not a one-time event. That's a daily death, but every day you choose honesty, you choose life. Every day you choose truth, you choose growth. You want real change, then let the light in. Let it expose the cracks. Let it show you where you've been building idols. Let it show you where you've been pretending. Let it lead you into confession, not just before others, but before your own soul.